If you don't get interested in politics, you will allow the fools to rule over you. When you vote for someone who gives you 5,000, 20,000, and whatever thousand, ask yourself, when he gets there, will he not want to recoup his money? If we don't allow money to influence us, we can change a lot. But it is always very difficult to tell a hungry man not to take money from a politician. Yeah. Who is in APC that has not been in PDP? Or who is in PDP that has not been in APC? The same thing with ADC, the same thing with Labour. People are talking about Olayinka, the Nobel laureate, that was no longer as firebrand as he used to be. And I said, at 91, what else do you expect? I mean, the man has fought all his life. From around 25, 30, the man has started fighting and has been talking. If he were to be like you, expecting those who are old when he was a young man to fight, will you have known him?
Do you think that the future of Nigeria at this point is bleak? There's a saying that if you don't do politics, politics will do you. As Nigerians reach a very critical point in the history of this nation, even more divisive than ever, and the 2027 elections draw near, we as Nigerians have to start having serious conversations about who we want and what we want. This is Talk District Podcast, where we have real talk, real conversations, and of course, we bring real people to have interesting conversations. My name is Kimmy K, and I am your host for the Talk District Podcast. And of course, I am not alone on the podcast. I have my lovely co-hosts.
Hi, guys. So welcome to Talk District Podcast again, guys. It's so nice to have you guys watching us from wherever and whatever time you're watching us and anywhere in the world. It's so nice to have you. Like Kim K said, this is going to be one for you to pay attention to, one for you to learn a lot from. I mean, the elections are like here already.
Next year, 2027.
It's like already.
It's no longer a myth. Mm-hmm. I think I saw a post the other day that says we're living in the future. Yeah. I remember as kids we would see 2026, 2027 as distant.
What's happening then?
Yeah.
But it's happening already.
And as young people, of course, we cannot say that we refuse to participate in political conversations because whatever decisions the political climate makes affect you and I. Yes. And before we introduce our very wonderful guest who has taken time to join us and maybe school us and have, honest and open conversations, most especially about the future of Nigeria. Yeah. I want to ask you, my lovely co-host, do you believe in politics?
Yeah. I learned
Are you pro-politics?
I learned politics in school, but politics just goes from, it goes from 0 to 10 in a second and from 10 to 0 again. You look at politicians and sometimes you look at people who are intentionally ruining the country, and other times you look at people who are trying to fix it. So it can be really complicated. It's a very complicated topic to talk about.
And that's why we have an expert here to talk to us on the Talk District Podcast and help us understand the many complexities of the Nigerian political space. And
our very own Dr. Olayinka Oyegbile,
who is a journalist, a media scholar, a playwright, and a public intellectual. And in this day and age where it seems like people are becoming more anti-intellectual, I think that we need people who understand and who can communicate ideas and share their own unique perspective. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
We really do appreciate you taking the time to join us on this conversation. Could you please, introduce yourself? Let's hear more. Let's the audience. We can't.
Let's hear more from
I've been a journalist all my adult life. I've been a journalist for almost 4 decades. So I think that's all. I've been in the newsroom. I've been from newsroom to classroom now. So let's talk.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
And you saying that you've been in the newsrooms means that you most likely have seen and heard it all.
Yes.
At this point.
I mean, Politics. We've seen it all. And Nigeria, well, when you are not interested in politics, politics will make you to be interested in it. Because I grew up not being interested in politics. But in life, politics influence everything you do. Even the food you eat, politics influences. So why do you say you are not interested in politics? So you can't be neutral. You must be involved in politics, not partisan politics. Let's be sure of that.
Okay.
So I found myself as a journalist. How can you say as a journalist you are not interested in politics? So politics, I'm interested in politics, not partisan politics, but policy and politics. So that's it.
Okay. And let's just start off the conversation from here. Do you think that the future of Nigeria at this point is bleak?
Well, you see, it's a very, very delicate question to say yes or no to. I want to tell you something. The Nigeria we are living in today was not the Nigeria I thought it was going to be. I grew up in a Nigeria where I was optimistic and hoping that things will work out. But somehow, as a friend said some time ago, in Nigeria, things seem to get from bad to worse. But that is not enough for us to give up hope. With the advent of technology and being able to connect with the other side of the world, I believe that if we get ourselves interested in the politics of our country, especially the young ones, they cannot afford not to get interested in Nigeria's politics. Because for people like us, as I am at this age now, I can't spend the same number of years I spent on Earth again. It's biologically impossible. So, if I say I'm disinterested in politics, maybe, but the younger ones who are still growing up must get interested in politics. Because if you don't get interested in politics, you will allow the fools to rule over you. And that is what most philosophers said. Plato, Machiavelli, and the rest of them said, if the learned people or the educated people fail to go into politics, the idiots will rule you. So, Nigeria's future, I believe, if you look at the current prospect, you might think it is bleak, but it is not something we cannot change. In the 60s, when Nigeria became independent, we were better off than most countries in the nation. But today, the Asians have turned around. I'm sure you guys have heard of Asian tigers.
Yeah.
The Asians have turned around, and Asia has become a very big world power. Nigeria can do the same. Rather than descending down the slope, we can come up and be parts of the world. Unfortunately, most of our young ones think politics is not their business. And rather than get interested in politics, at least participate. You see, most people sometimes say, if I even vote, will it change anything? And I always tell such people, you do your part and let the poll decide. Because when I say, will my vote do anything, you say, will your
vote do anything?
ballot do anything? She says that it will have ballot. That's 3.
Lost vote.
That's -3. But if the 3 of us decide that, look, whatever it is, let me vote, those 3 might make a difference. When people have won election with a difference of 10,000 or less, So if those 10,000 or less didn't vote, how will the person have won? So I believe that Nigeria's future is bright if only we are ready to participate. You don't have to be a politician to participate. That's what I want to emphasize. Participation begins by getting politically active, vote on the day of voting, and also contribute your quota. Most times we think the problem is only our leaders. Yes, our leaders have their problem, but we as citizens too also have our own role to play. So, I've been circuitous, sort of, but I believe that Nigeria's future is bright, but we should not sit down and say, God will do it.
Yeah.
God has already given us the wherewithal, He has given us the sense and everything. The countries that are better than Nigeria, it is not because they are better than us. It is not because they have better leaders. In the world, all leaders or all human beings have the tendencies to be bad. It is the citizenship that decides. So, if as human beings we participate and ask our leaders questions, when you vote for someone who gives you 5,000, 20,000, and whatever thousand, ask yourself, when he gets there, will he not want to recoup his money? In Nigeria today, we have politicians who boast that I'm the one who bought tickets for all those in the National Assembly and or State Assembly or governor and so on. The question we should ask ourselves, does he have a factory? What does he do that makes him to get that money to buy tickets for everybody? It's our common purse. So the money that should go to a commonwealth, one man wants to sit down on it and be the one to distribute in favor. No, we should not take that. We shouldn't. Nigeria will be great if we all play our part.
Insightful.
I think that's something to reflect on, but I want to piggyback on what you said about votes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have this mentality that their votes will not and have never counted. I want to share a story. During the 2023 general elections, on my streets here in Lagos, I watched thugs disrupt the electoral process, and they went away with the ballot boxes. As a young person, how am I supposed to feel when I see this scenario play out? Now, it's not like anybody's telling me that, oh, they will come to your street and no.
Yeah.
I watched them take away the ballot boxes. And eventually when the numbers came, it was ridiculous because nobody was allowed to vote, but there were
And
numbers.
come up, yeah.
So do you think that it's valid when people feel or say that their votes do not count in the Nigerian electoral process?
Yes. From the scenario which you narrated, yes, it happened in several polling stations or some polling stations. But I believe very strongly also that sometimes we give in too easily. When these thugs were coming, if there are maybe 10, 20 of them, and I believe those who are at the polling station will be more than that. If everyone has stood his or her ground, they cannot overpower everybody. Well, if they bring guns or machetes and so on, maybe everybody will run for his or her life, definitely. But also, I believe that before the election comes around, people should, who are those who are mostly used for this? They are people who are uneducated, mostly.
Yeah.
And that is why politicians will always want to keep you in perpetual state of uneducation. For somebody like me, you and you, I'm not sure anybody will come and hire you to come and to go and disrupt polling station and say they will give you no matter how much he or she will give you. The first thing you will think about is, if you want me to go and disrupt election and you arm me, will you allow your child to lead us? But most people don't think that way. Because in all honesty, most of these politicians, either on the day of voting or before the day of the ballot, their children are either not in Nigeria, or if they are in Nigeria, they are somewhere inside their house. Yeah. Most of them don't even allow their children to vote or go to the ballot center. Of course. Because they know that they can always use money to influence people. If we don't allow money to influence us, we can change a lot. But it is always very difficult to tell a hungry man not to take money from a politician.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. It will take the moral or the determination of a job, the biblical job, for you or for a poor man or woman not to take money from a politician. But I believe that if there is education, if people are educated, we can know our right from our left. For instance, an education is not about certificates. Don't let us mix it up. My parents didn't go to any formal school. They didn't have any primary school certificate or whatever. But they were politically savvy. They were educated in the real world of education that you cannot give me money to vote for you. So if people are empowered, and that's why politicians always do such things. People, when we talk of empowerment, it's not all these giving marwa or motorcycle or
bag of rice,
bag of rice or machine they use in grinding machine and all that. No, that's not the kind of empowerment I'm talking about. Education liberates you. Although you also will say that there are those who are educated who will still do that. But education is not certificate alone. So what I'm saying in essence is that in Nigeria, we need to emphasize proper education. And for a hungry man to say no to money, as I said earlier, is difficult. It takes a strong moral fiber to make up your mind that you are not going to do that. But also, I will have talked about religion, but unfortunately, religion has become something else in Nigeria. In fact, all the three religions that we know in Nigeria, either Christianity, Islam, or traditional, they have all been corrupted. So you cannot say that religion will save us. Because in the days of old, if people swear by Obatala or whatever they believe in, they are afraid. But nowadays, we have those who do the fake, and also, so it's the same thing in Christendom and Islam. So our vote will count when, as individuals, we make up our mind. Most times we blame our politicians, but we ourselves, we should take a look at ourselves. Am I doing what is right? Will I do what I know is good, or will the country, if I don't do what is right, how will the country grow? For instance, you are going on the road, you finish drinking your pet bottle, and you just throw it that way. Are you going to bring the dealer? No. So we must do our own little, in our own little corners, we must do what we think, what we know is right.
All right. Thank you so much for your take on this, Doctor. And so now, having heard about this is the people now, the people being impoverished, having lack of education to have the knowledge of saying this is not right. I don't want to do it. This is what is right, and this is what I will stand by. Now that being said, let's talk about the other option, the other part. That is those in power. We run a multi-party system in this country. It is trying to look a little more like it's a two-party system, and even at this point, it's becoming to look like a one-party system, giving the people less choice when it comes to what political party to, support, join, or vote for. Now, looking at it from that angle, it looks like we have the same set of people in power. How do you think the people can better vet or assess these people to know who is right and who is not right? They all have track records. Some are forged, some are real. They all have, like I said, track records. They all have things to offer by words. And with their track records, they will say, I've done this, I can do this. And people tend to vote, even the enlightened ones, tend to vote based on these track records, which means voting wrongly. Those who choose not to vote, don't vote. But those who can actually and are willing to vote are also voting wrongly because they do not have the right image of who they are voting for. So what's your opinion on how to properly vet candidates as individual Nigerians before exercising your franchise?
Yes. Honestly, the first thing for me as an individual is, fortunately, most of these people have either been governors or senators or whatever before. You also look at them by their track record. When I say track record, I mean, personally, what do you think they have achieved? Today, who is in APC that has not been in PDP? Or who is in PDP that has not been in APC?
Exactly.
The same thing with ADC, the same thing with Labour. I mean, those are maybe the four major parties we have now. And then the question arises, what is the difference? As far as I'm concerned, all of them travel together. The reason why we have splinters of parties today is strictly based on personal ego and ambition. For example, let's take the case of Rivers.
Okay.
The man that is dictating the pace of everything in Rivers, is he in PDP or in APC? I'm talking about the Minister of Federal Capital Territory.
Yes, sir.
Before the governor, Fubara, defected to APC, he was in PDP, although when he organized his own local government, which was later done away with before he was suspended and the administrator came in to conduct election. Okay, now, he has defected to APC. The PDP leader in the state, who is also an APC supporter, the Minister of Federal Capital, spoke for the party and said, because he defected does not give him automatic ticket. The secretary of the party came out to say, no, you are not a member of our party, you cannot speak for us. But somehow, they back down now. Do you think all those things are for the benefit of Rivers people? No. The problem is Wike has vowed that Fubara will never get a second term. Now, if Fubara gets a second term, no matter on what party ticket he thinks his political career as Wike is finished. So, is he basing Fubara's success on the welfare of Rivers people or his own personal ego? So these are issues. Now, for anybody to now look at who do I vote for, one thing I tell people that I think is very important henceforth is, please don't vote on party basis.
Okay.
Vote on candidates, for candidates. Because whether you vote for a party A or party B, they are all the same. Now, those who voted for all those PDP governors who have defected to APC, what is their gain? It's clearly the gain of the governors or House of Assembly member or National Assembly members. When did they gather their constituents to ask them that, okay, this is what is happening in my current party, what do you think I should do? Rather, they jump ship and then come back later to campaign to the same people. But if you voted for an individual on an individual basis, perhaps it will be better. But then there's also the problem of poverty, which we've spoken about. Mm-hmm. Because the Yoruba will say, that somebody who's hungry, no matter how much you preach to him or her, he won't listen to you. So, for me, the parties as we have them today, it's just the difference between them is just the same difference between half a dozen and six. It depends on how you call it.
Yeah.
So they are all the same thing. As I said earlier, who has been in APC, who has not been in PDP or ADC? All the characters who are in ADC today were at one time with APC. But because maybe a candidate of their choice didn't win, or the candidate of their choice won, but is not looking at that side or favoring them, then they decided to defect and form another party. So they are all the same thing. Only thing is that look at them as individuals and decide. It's a very difficult choice, I must confess. It's a very difficult choice because the way they are now, there's no difference among them, as far as I'm concerned. And it will take the grace of God and knowledgeability for you to decide who to vote for or what to do. Because as they are, all this crowd parading themselves, I don't see anyone that can rescue Nigeria. A case in point, the current president, he campaigned on the fact that he governed Lagos, he turned Lagos into this and that. What's happening at the federal level now? I don't know. So, where is the magic? Maybe just like Buhari, he's no longer a young man. Therefore, the magic they thought he performed in Lagos, old age is taking it away at the center.
Okay. Now that's another deep one. I must say, as
it is
insightful as it is.
It is, and I think that I'm picking, a couple of points that I would really love for Doctor to expand on. Before I ask you, I just want to I want us to have this conversation. Do you think personally that Nigerians have become too docile, or there's this defeatist mentality? Because it seems like a group of relatively small people are controlling entire masses. Do you think we've become too docile? Are we a defeated
Yes,
people?
especially the youth. Let me tell you one thing. Before the 2023 election, or during the 2023, or in the run-up to 2023 election, people were talking about Olayinka, the Nobel laureate, that was no longer as firebrand as he used to be. And I said, at 91, what else do you expect?
What more?
I mean, the man has fought all his life. From around 25, 30, the man has started fighting and has been talking. And then you are blaming, if he were to be like you, expecting those who are old when he was a young man to fight, will you have known him? I mean, no. And I also think that our young ones, rather than getting interested in who becomes the leader, every one of you or every one of them are investing their time and resources in running away from Nigeria. Everybody wants to jackpot. Honestly, somehow there's nothing wrong with that, because most of the people who have ruled, or who are our own heroes when we were growing up, were people who went abroad, got educated, and came back home. But nowadays, people want to go and never want to return. So what went wrong? Yes, the world has become a global village, as Marshall once said. You can be anywhere and become a citizen of the world. But if the developed world didn't start developed, citizens stayed to develop it. Yes, you might say that, yeah, they are not giving us chance. They are not, but we need to, the younger ones also need to struggle. I mean, everyone cannot abandon Nigeria and say that we should allow them to continue to take control of what they are doing. Because if everybody leaves, these are the same people that will, they are, if you look at politics today, I mean, a case in point, I will not mention name. A big politician is there. His son is a chairman of a local government. Another one, his son is a commissioner in the government. I mean, so you find out that they are reproducing themselves.
Exactly.
And then you ask yourself, what is going on? It was the same thing during the military. Those who are military generals, some of them today, their sons are generals also in the army. And let's come back to a recent joke that one young man cracked, and I reasoned with him. He said, when there is vacancy in Central Bank or NNPC, they won't advertise. They'll put their sons and daughters.
Yeah.
Now, they are now advertising that people should come and join the army, the
yeah,
police,
of course.
and the rest of it. When it is custom, they won't let you know. Because the military now is becoming tougher. If you join, they take you to where there are bandits and all those things. The same thing with the police. So, but what we need to also do, the young ones, they also need to get involved, no matter how little, because If you don't get involved, they will make decisions that will affect your life. I mean, the decisions they are making now is affecting everybody's life. That's why children are living. I mean, you have a situation now that if God gives life, there are men or women, especially men, about 75, who today are living alone. The mother has gone to Canada or UK or America to go and do Omugo. The father is at home. He has turned to an emergency bachelor. I mean, he can't feed well. I mean, at 75.
Yeah.
You begin to live all alone when you have been living with. I mean, so we should not allow them to drive us all away from Nigeria, because I see a situation where every young man or woman wants to run away from Nigeria. There's nothing wrong in traveling abroad. Not too long ago, I came back, but that's not to say. But for you to say that, I mean, you have situations that, here where someone was a bank manager, he sold his house, sold his everything, and decided to emigrate abroad to go and be doing menial jobs. Well, some of them think that if they change it to Naira is big money. Well, God help you. But I think people have to decide. And how do you decide? How to get involved. At the level where you even discuss, don't be silent. In your community, get involved. You don't have to be a politician at the high level. Maybe at your ward meeting, go there, talk, and get involved so that you can also affect your community. But don't use it as a climbing stone, as a climbing ladder. Because we have people like that who use the community or such things to say, let me also better my own life.
Yeah.
I mean, so we need to get more serious and more involved in the issue of politics.
Yeah. So the last part you said there, using others as climbing ladders, it actually takes us to the point where we need to see how people want to actually make the country work at the grassroots. We maybe grow up with them, see them do things that makes us believe in them, that this person can actually get the job done. They go for the position of a counselor. People vote them in because they see they want to do it. But at some point, they get corrupted by the system. Because the system there's an ideology that the system tends to corrupt on the long run. If you don't yield to the grandmasters up there, they put something, like they put a leash around your neck, whether you want it or you don't want it, like putting you in some kind of issues. These things are theories. There are no facts to back them up, but they are theories, whereby they maybe set you up in a situation where you're being framed for something. They tell you, if you don't comply with our terms, we're going to put you out in public, and you will go to jail or be suppressed. Then you can't fight again, and people don't have a choice than to yield. That is something, theoretically speaking now, that I believe happens to those who are from the grassroots. So it becomes so complicated to the point that at some point we think of those at the top, those who we really think can actually make a change. We think of them as Messiah at some point. But on the long run, we realize they are not a Messiah. Because this takes us to different angles. There's question about our heroes, those we grew up learning from primary school. I'm talking about my generation now. The likes of the ones who fought for independence. Did they really fight for our independence, or they fought for their own pockets and their own seat at the table? There's that. And also, having people who come up as messiahs and then disappointing the public after they have believed in them. Because Nigerians tend to believe easily. And when they fail, They even go on as far as, let's give him a second chance. And he fails again. Then he puts someone else there. I'm from Ogun State, sir. And I have a bitter perspective about how the state has been run for many years. It's saddening. So that on one side. Then our heroes, are they really heroes? And the Messiah talk. Are they actually messiahs, or they are camouflaging to just get there and then
Or are
disappoint?
we making them the messiahs?
Yeah. Are we being delusional about their presence?
I think this is a real, talk for the 2027 prospects.
Yeah.
And not to bring up names, but we have to.
Yeah.
The name that's been on everyone's lips,
Since before
Peter
2023. Yeah.
Obi.
Um,
Are we making him into a messiah?
Or is he actually one?
let me first of all offer you my sympathy. I also live in Ogun State.
Oh boy.
As I tell people, I think Ogun State is the worst governed state
I agree.
in the southwest,
I
if
have
not
to.
in Nigeria.
I have to.
Unfortunately. Now, in Nigeria, we look too much on the Messiah syndrome. And I don't think that works for us. When President Barack Obama visited, I think, Ghana, when he was president, he said something that Africa needs strong institutions, not strong men. I agree in total with him. The reason is that if you have institution that is strong, no matter what, even if you have a weak leader, if the institution is strong, the leader will have to adapt to the institution. He cannot easily change things. And we see that going on in the United States of America today. Yes, some of the things you might ask, okay, if there is a strong institution, why is what is happening in the US happening? I want to tell you that if there were no strong institutions in the US, President Trump would perhaps have been doing worse than he's doing now. But there are checks and balances. So, coming back to Nigeria, our current crop of politicians will never want something that will make the electorate strong and be able to call them to order. We are supposed to have a new electoral law, latest I think by next month, because according to the law, the electoral law must be ready 1 year before the election. It was only yesterday that they set up a committee at the Senate to review the electoral law, which should have been done all along. So, if care is not taken, if they don't speed it up, we may have to use the 2022 or which year was it? We'll use the old one. And that is also a big problem. I don't want us to continue to be using the issue of seeing somebody as a messiah. Is that idea of seeing somebody as a messiah that brought us to where we are today? In 1999, although the Southwest did not agree, the powers that be, or those who think Nigeria belongs to them, supported Obasanjo and saw him as the Messiah. After 8 years, what happened? I mean, so, and just as you said, somebody is given a position, he wins a second term. When he wants to leave, he brings somebody to replace him. That was how Yaradua came in. Yaradua perhaps would have been a difference, but somehow he died before and all that. So, I think in Nigeria, what we should also always be fighting for is to have a strong institution. If we have a strong institution, it will pay us better. A strong institution will, it may not be the cure-all. Don't let us think it can cure everything.
Yeah.
But in the typical Nigerian system, but somehow, it will work. And talking about personalities, I think the time that everybody thought Peter Obi was a messiah, I think it has gone with the 2023 election. I'm not sure with what is happening in the current polity, even if he gets the ticket for ADC, I'm not sure it's going to galvanize as many votes as it did in 2023. Not because people think the APC has performed better, but because of so many circumstances. And things have gone beyond sync. Those who many people thought had ideas are today in power, and their ideas are at variance with what people are saying. For instance, when you hear some people talk and they talk about the gains of the current leadership in Nigeria, then you ask yourself, is it really true? Am I living in another world, or they are the one living in another world? Things have spiraled almost out of control that you begin to ask yourself, is this the same Nigeria? Sometimes when I talk to my children and I tell them about the Nigeria in which I grew up in, I had opportunities traveling abroad to stay back, but I came back, I was always coming back and saying, oh, Nigeria will be good. We are going to change Nigeria. But unfortunately, the Nigeria that I grew up in is worse presently than the Nigeria that I expected. And my children always ask me one question. When you see our politicians, almost all of them come from humble background. They will say, his father was a carpenter, but today nobody will ever say his father was a millionaire. The man who won the 1993 election, who was denied Abiola, they said he was from a poor background. The current president, and almost everybody that has ruled Nigeria, they will tell you they came from humble background, and all of them will tell you that when they were growing up, their parents told them not to steal. Their parents did this, their parents did that. Then my children asked me, so, those who are stealing Nigeria's commonwealth, was it that their parents told them to steal? Because those ones too will come and tell you the story of their parents. So how do you now answer that? What went wrong? I think everything went wrong. We look at people and judge them by what they say or what they can give us. If you go to some places today, when they talk to you about some politician, nobody even cares where he got the money. And that's what annoys me most. I gave an example a while ago. How can a politician come openly on the TV stations and tell you that I bought the form for the governor, I bought it for all House of Assembly member? And I asked myself, not even Dangote will do that. Dangote, at least we know he has factories, he has money. And this politician that is telling you that he bought ticket for, tell me, let him show us which factory he owns, where he got that money to buy ticket. But everybody will clap for him and they say, yes, he bought ticket for them, now they should listen to him. So we have justified, or we are following what is wrong, and everybody wants things to be right. Things can never go right if we all continue to follow those who are stealing our commonwealth and trying to dole it out for us one after the other.
I think it just keeps getting sadder.
It does. And while we're still on the subject of Peter Obi, you mentioned that you believe there are circumstances that would, hinder his chances at the 2027 election. Do you think that tribalism is one of those circumstances?
Well, that is beginning to make it look as if there is nothing into talking about performance or whatever. I've said this before at different fora that one of the biggest problem that, if you go particular now, that Peter Obi has is that is the same problem that cropped up when Babangida annulled the June 12th election. At the first instance, it was a national affair. Almost everybody, whether north, east, or west, kicked against it that no, Babangida shouldn't have another election. Abiola won fair and square. But somehow, things begin to peter out, and it became like it was only the Southwest. So for Peter Obi, there are some forces that were galvanized running up to 2023 that cut across the country. But due to one reason or the other, since the election went the way it went, most of the people today, even who are not from his ethnic group, are beginning to retreat. Retreat not because they don't believe in him again or they don't like him, but because some of the people who are from his side of the country have begun to appropriate him and think that it is every northerner, every southerner, or somebody from the southwest and so on, or the south that hates their candidate, which is not so. So, for now, the reason why I said that is by 2027, God sparing all our lives, there are a groundswell of opposition against the APC in the north. There's a groundswell of opposition against him in the southeast. The south-south and the southwest may not be a groundswell opposition, but how the party is going to manage it, and from the way it is going, it is not very likely that Peter Obi will even get that ticket, especially if you all know if Atiku insists he wants to get it. Because he has the deep pocket, he has the wherewithal, just like we have at the federal level presently. So it's going to be, and the way the politics of Nigeria is wired, when Buhari did 2 terms, an average southerner, either Yoruba, Igbo, or South-South, will not want to vote for a candidate that is from the north. Even those who don't like the present government, I'm not sure. Because of the politics of ethnicity, they will think that the North So you now want the North to have more time in power than the South, even when they are not directly gaining from it. So that ethnic dimension to our politics is one of the problems that is stultifying Nigeria's growth. Everybody thinks if the president comes from my side of the country, it will favor me. The Southwest, I don't know whether the current dispensation favor the Southwest more than the Southeast or the South or the North. So it's just perception, and perception is stronger than whatever you think.
So, like I said earlier, before you asked your question, it keeps getting sad. But like you said,
Sad for who?
sad for the country, for the people, for everyone.
Because I know there are people laughing to the bank.
Yeah.
Or the
Well,
misery, or
but
the
there are
misery.
few. There are few. See, the truth of the matter is that there are those who are in the corridors of power today, or who are close to those in the corridors of power today, who will do everything, give all arm and leg for the status to continue.
Yeah.
But are they in the majority? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Because government is there to create a level playing field for every man. But in Nigeria, unfortunately, the closer you are to power, the better for you.
So how did the youths grab the power then? Violently?
No.
And there's a question of a revolution, because a glimpse of it was what happened in 2020, where we had youths come out. It was not very well handled, yes.
The
but we had youths
NSAS.
come out. Yeah, NSAS. We had youths come out to, demand for proper governance, for justice, basically. And it didn't end well. And since then, the government seems to have positioned themselves to obstruct anything that looks like it.
You
Anything that looks like it.
when you talk of revolution doesn't have to also be something violent or whatever. I thought that the chance that Nigeria had for a revolution was in 2023. Either wrongly or rightly, if someone like Peter Obi had won the election, the youth would have said, yes, they've caused the revolution.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been anything violent. But we also know there are so many circumstances that work against that.
Yeah.
And we don't have to say it, but everybody knows. So, change can be gradual, but at the same time, it takes a long time for things to change. I agree. If you don't, because, see, when you talk of revolution, in the Nigerian system, everything that works elsewhere doesn't work here.
Okay.
In 1966, when Nzeogwu and the rest of them staged the coup,
Yeah.
their intention was to carry out a revolution. But somehow, some of their colleagues reneged. They didn't do what they said they should do. And when the most senior military person, Agui Ironsi, took over, he also failed to do what was necessary. So, the revolution was taken over by other people. The same thing happened when Murtala Mohammed. One would have thought that Murtala Mohammed will be the one to change Nigeria, but somehow. So, in Egypt, the military government of Abdul Gamal Nasser
Nasir, yeah.
was the one that changed Egypt
Yeah.
from monarchy to what they have now. But in Africa or in Nigeria, we've had a system where the military itself has become politicized, has become corrupted. In fact, maybe worse than even politics for a politician. The politicians you normally have idea in every 4 years, whether they rig it or not, at least a semblance of change comes. But I don't want to be bleak. I don't want to be pessimistic. But I believe that one day, something will happen. Something will give.
Doctor, one day, our futures are counting.
Generations have passed. That's why
Our
it's not, you
futures
can't
are
really blame those
counting.
who give up and just say they want to go.
Yeah.
Because
We're
there's little
struggling.
to nothing to
We're
hold on
struggling
to.
as young people.
Yeah, is as I said, it's always difficult to, because in all honesty, sometimes I ask myself, Olayinka, have you given up? Because I never thought Nigeria would be what it is today. When I was younger, some 30, 40 years back, when I hear somebody is 50, I say, oh, he's very old. He should enjoy himself, travel around the world and all that. But that was what was obtainable then. But now, I can't even travel to my town. Talk less of travel around the world.
Insecurity is one, bad road network.
Apart
So
from
much
insecurity,
messed up.
the cost of
The cost,
things
yeah.
have skyrocketed so much so that, I mean,
And is that heartbreaking?
it's
for you?
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And I look back and I say, wow, is this how we are going to live this country? We are raising a generation that may not be as patient as our own generation.
Yes.
And what you call a revolution might jolly well
With them.
happen, but sometimes revolution also consume innocent people.
Yes, it definitely.
Let
does
me give you an
sometimes.
example. There was during that EndSARS, during the riot, I was driving to work and I ran into these boys. And they felt that, oh, this is one of them. Because I was driving and I said, I'm a journalist. So somehow, people you think you are trying to help,
Don't see you.
they don't, they see you as some of them. I've been stopped in traffic. I've been in traffic sometimes. Somebody will look at me and say, this is a man I see on TV every day. Baba Efungalowo now. They know you in Abuja. I say, who knows me? They think that because you appear on TV, you are rich. And so, it is a collective danger, I must tell you. And that is the reason why you find out that nowadays, the local government chairman of, I won't mention the local government, let's just say a local government chairman in mainland, local government is in mainland, is living on the island, or is living in Lekki, or is living in Banana Island. The idea of local government is that it must be somebody living in that community.
Exactly.
The realities of the community.
So how do you,
Representative.
if you don't live among them, how do you know what they feel?
Exactly.
So, and the reason why they don't want to live among the people they preside over is because they know they have not done what they're supposed to be doing. You travel abroad, you see local government chairman equivalent, or even they board the train or ride bicycle. You see them around, but Ordinary councillor, you won't even see him. He's
It's
driving some.
It's sad.
So,
Well,
Doctor, we have one more question before we wrap
Okay.
our episode out. We've highlighted a lot of our issues. What then is the way forward? Seeing as our elections are, before you know it's 2027 is already here. So what's the way forward for us, young people, old people alike? People who want better for the country, because at the end of the day, we can't all run away
Yeah.
from our home, from our homeland.
And
Well,
in addition to that,
yes.
sorry, sir. In addition to that, you started by sparking some hope in me by saying you still have hope. I mean, you've seen, like Kimmy K said, you've seen a lot, you've seen it all, but still you have hope. Now, while you answer that question, I would like to know what are you hanging on to? Because for many of us, the youth, we look around and we don't see anything to hang on to. Corruption here, embezzlement there,
Fuel is expensive.
silly lies,
Food is expensive.
the
roads,
lifestyle,
police
everything.
harassment.
So what are you hanging on to, sir?
there's a saying that when there's life, there's hope. Because a hopeless man is a dead man. I believe that at the end of it all, humanity will triumph. That every man, no matter in your own corner, do what you think is right. Do what you think will make the country better. As an individual, and my children know that, when I'm driving and you are eating anything inside the car, you are drinking water, pure water or whatever, when you finish, you drop it inside the car. When we get home, we
Dispose properly.
dispose. But unfortunately, most of us, we see the fault in others, we don't see it in ourselves. You are driving, you finish eating gala, you throw it out. Yet you complain the city is dirty. Of course, it will be dirty. But in terms of hope, my prayer is that we should all continue to get involved. In your own corner, try and get involved and talk to people. Yes, everybody says the country is corrupt, but in your own, are you? Is there something you are doing wrong? Because it is easy for you to see my fault. And it is very, very uneasy sometimes for me to see my fault, to see my own fault. Sometimes you may do something unconsciously. As I'm talking to you now, it's not as if sometimes I don't do some things wrong too, but when I do it, my conscience pinches me and I say, oh, Nka, you have the same thing you are accusing people of is what you are doing. We should all get to that consciousness. And also, be sure that you don't partake or encourage people to continue to praise or want to grab from people you know are wrong. Yeah, well, you might say, yes, it's our money, it's giving us. Yes, well, yes, but it's because they see people who take it. That's why they
That's
give.
why they keep giving. True.
If every man decides that I won't take it or I won't allow it to influence me, things will change. It's very difficult to do, but as I said earlier, how do you convince an hungry man not to eat? You tell him not to eat his enemy's food, but his friend refused to give him food. I mean, what will he do? Unless you want him to die. So, for the young people, I think that, as Abiola said, they should keep hope alive and continue to walk
Wow.
and pray Prayer works, but you have to work to make your
pray.
prayer answer, to make things work for the country. I pray that we are going to have a new set of people ruling this country because Nigeria is good. Nigeria has all the resources.
Yeah.
I mean,
In humans and material.
see, a country like Singapore has no single mineral resource.
Imagine.
It's human resource that they have.
And we have
But
most-
Nigeria has everything. There's hardly anything you are looking for in this world, a mineral that is not here. We have gold, we have oil, we have this, we have that. But our disaster is the leadership.
And
Sad.
just like Nigeria has everything, Talk District Podcast has everything.
Yeah.
Real talk, real conversation, and real vibes. And we've come to the end of this very insightful episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel hope
Real deep.
or I don't know if I feel... How do you feel?
I feel a glimpse of hope within me, but I think I feel more sad. I mean, sometimes when you really want to talk about the state of the country, you're most likely to be sad because you see it every day. We see it every day. We hear it. I mean,
It's
it's
our lived
lies,
realities.
silly lies.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you. It's been-
Olayinka, for joining us on today's episode. I think we have a little gift
Yeah.
to say thank you. We really appreciate.
For coming,
Thank you very much.
for honoring us with your presence.
Oh, thank you.
your
And when you
insights,
think
your
about young
experience.
people who care about, way forward, I hope you you think about us.
Oh, this is interesting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
You're
sir.
I
very
appreciate you.
You're
welcome.
welcome, sir.
God
It's an
bless
honor
you.
to
Yeah.
have you.
This episode is sponsored by the Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa. The message is simple. Protect your health from the dangers of sugary drinks. SSB tax saves life. And from all of us at Talk District, my name is Kimmy K. We'll see you next time. Same place, next episode.
time.
Goodbye.
And keep the conversation going. We're not done. Keep it going. Election is coming. Get your PVC and L. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on it. So yeah, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. That is really, really very important. Subscribe, like, share. Let's have your comment. Tell us and keep the conversation going, like I said. And make sure to be a participant in the next election. Don't just be an audience. Look at what it has become for many of us who have chosen to be audience. So join in. We can actually make Nigeria good. Only us can actually fix the country, not someone from outside. Thank you, and catch you guys later.